The states of Nevada and Utah have some of the most stunning landscapes in the United States. With a combined population of just over 6 million, Utah can boast of the highest literacy rate in the U.S. And Nevada is home to Lake Tahoe, the largest alpine lake in North America, and the second deepest lake in the U.S. Hi, I'm Connie Vandeman Jeffrey, and this is Nevada-Utah Conference Week on All God's People. There are so many interesting facts about these two western states that are part of our Pacific Union Conference, but our Adventist history is even more interesting. The Adventist work started in Nevada in 1869 when William Hunt of Gold Hill saw a newspaper report about evangelists John Loughborough and D.T. Bourdeau, who were holding tent meetings in Northern California. Hunt didn't know their names, but he wrote to the elders at the tent in Healdsburg, California, and requested a book on Revelation. Loughborough sent him the book, along with other literature and a letter explaining what they were doing. Hunt replied, sending money and requesting more books. Eventually, Loughborough reported that they sent him everything the denomination published. Hunt said he believed it all and was keeping the Sabbath. A more permanent Adventist presence began in 1876, when Jackson Ferguson moved to Nevada from Santa Rosa, California, and began to hold regular Sabbath services. The next year, Loughborough was asked to come and hold meetings in Reno. Charles M. Kinney, who had been born a slave in Richmond, Virginia, attended Loughborough's evangelistic series. And during the series, Ellen White visited Reno and she preached to the interested audience. Her sermon made an impact on Kinney. He became convinced of the truth and was baptized on September 30, 1878. Kinney was sponsored by the Reno Church to study at Healdsburg College, and he became the first ordained African-American pastor in the Adventist Church. As a result of these meetings and others, the Seventh-day Adventist Association in the state of Nevada was formed, later becoming the Nevada Mission. Nevada's first Adventist church was built in Reno in 1888. The work had a tough beginning in Utah. In 1889, several literature evangelists were sent by the California Conference to Utah, though they found the outlook was not at all flattering. At the General Conference session in March 1891, it was reported that G.H. Derrick had been sent to Utah, noting that this was perhaps the hardest field for labor in the United States. It was also recommended that the work should be started after a study of the people and the best means of reaching them. So it was surprising in those circumstances that the first Adventist church was organized in Salt Lake City with 20 members the following year. Due to the challenges, the work in Utah was assigned to direct General Conference supervision in 1894. In 1902, the Pacific Union Conference recommended the organization of the Utah Conference with a regular membership of 143 plus some isolated members. Eventually, the Nevada-Utah Conference was organized in 1931 with 315 members and 12 churches in Nevada. And the work has continued to grow in the conference. Currently, there are 10,555 members and a total of 63 congregations. There are also 8 schools in Nevada and Utah. And my, how God is blessing those schools, even in the midst of a pandemic. The schools of the Nevada-Utah Conference are taking safety seriously as they endeavor to teach their students to be masked heroes who follow the golden rule: love your neighbor as yourself. Students from Mrs. Bourdeau's class at Riverview Christian Academy created an art composition depicting their students as these masked heroes. Recently, Miss McCaw's 3rd and 4th grade class at Summit Christian Academy were able to see how germs spread quickly, as well as the importance of careful hand washing in a demonstration using glitter, lotion, soap, and water. What a great lesson at this time when the importance of good hand hygiene matters so much. Extensive policies have been implemented to ensure that the students in the Nevada-Utah Conference have both online and in-person options for learning, and also a safe space to learn how to be like Jesus. Since the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic, the Nevada-Utah Conference has held more than a dozen different conference-wide virtual events. This includes a virtual convocation, graduation, communion, and camporee. During the conference-wide convocation and graduation, they were able to celebrate the work of their churches and students. The virtual communion provided a unique opportunity to talk about communion, discuss its importance, and celebrate this special service as a conference family. The virtual camporee gave the Pathfinders and adventurers a time to fellowship with their families while doing special crafts and activities. Church and conference leaders from a territory that covers over 200,000 square miles have been able to coordinate in the Spirit of the Lord to bring these events together. In spite of these trying times, the churches and members of the Nevada-Utah Conference feel closer than ever as they continue to fellowship virtually during these special events. From masked heroes to glittery hands to an entire conference meeting virtually in communion, the members and leaders of the Nevada-Utah Conference are a living example of how to grow and thrive during these unprecedented times. I am reminded of Ephesians 4:3. Make every effort to keep yourselves united in the Spirit, binding yourselves together with peace. May that be our prayer for all God's people today. Thanks for joining us. We'll be back again next week. I'm Connie Jeffrey.